unlocking your world of creativity with best-selling author and brand innovator, Mark Stinson. This episode is brought to you by White Cloud Coffee Roasters, nestled in the heart of Idaho's mountain wilderness, where every bean tells a story of adventure. Discover the difference in their premium beans, meticulously roasted to capture the essence of the mountains. Now, listeners of our podcast can get an exclusive 10% discount. Just use the promo code CREATIVITY at checkout. Visit whitecloudcoffee.com and use the code CREATIVITY.
Well, welcome back, friends, to our podcast, Your World of Creativity, where we've been exploring the journeys of artists and entrepreneurs and innovators who are really pushing creative boundaries all over the world. And today we're going to dive into the fascinating world of digital art and animation and AI-driven creativity with a real pioneer in the category, Troy Plota. Troy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mark. Happy to be on with you.
Yes, indeed. When I read 10 million downloads and a whole thriving community, this Plotaverse and your Plotagraph ventures really changing the way that creators are bringing their vision to life. And there can't be more topical than digital artistry, AI, entrepreneurship. Let's dive into it and what you see really at this intersection of art and technology.
Yeah, exactly. AI right now, it's changing weekly. Like the tools that are coming up right now, they're just absolutely incredible. I don't know if we could ever even predicted what's happening right now. So it's really fun to be a part of it and to help people, even traditional artists, create or even use AI tools as an addition to what they're doing.
Yes. And I guess it didn't creep up on you, I'm sure, that in 3 decades of photography, artistry, digital work for you. But when you think about how it did come up so fast, and now it's in the vernacular, let's chat GPT it. If we make a verb of it one more time, just like we Googled it, here we go. And so it is very much in the workflow now, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of the new artists that are coming up, actually, when I say new artists, it's just all ages as well. It's just something like I've never seen before as far as how fast it's happening and how a lot of the artists, like I've been actually shooting for over 40 years now. I've been shooting since I was a kid and created my first studio when I was 21. A lot of times when you would call somebody an artist, they would say, "Oh, no, I'm not an artist. I'm a photographer." "Oh, I'm not an artist." For some reason, they would equate it with painting. But the AI artists coming up, I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, this piece that you made is amazing. You're such an incredible artist." And they'll say, "Thank you." They really, there's something happening right now that the old ways of doing things, the old ways that people were even hung up on things are changing so fast. And the tools, anything that you're basically can think, you can create now. And AI is not completely there. We're probably like maybe 95% of the way there, but a year from now, it probably will be completely there. So just being a part of this whole process is really exciting.
Yeah. As we think about then this Plotaverse that you're creating with all sorts of apps and tools, give us a snapshot of what those are designed to do. What are the tools about?
Gotcha. Okay, for starters, I'm a longtime fashion advertising celebrity photographer. In 2015, I came up with a concept and an idea of animating still photos. So one of the things for me is because I've been shooting for so long, I'd get bored of just traditional photography. I actually had the first billboard in Times Square shot with a digital camera. I did a TED Talks in 2013 called the Future of Photography. And so I created this app called Plotagraph. And I went to market with it. We actually went to #1 in the App Store, and I've done very well with that. So in the success of that app, I just kept going with it. And I created a social platform. So that's right now what we've launched. We've actually relaunched this social platform for only AI content. Because right now I see the writing on the wall is no doubt that if you're not using AI in your workflow, you're really going to be behind. And also just as far as to be able to save money within budgets of creating things. I specialized for so many years in photography, actually fashion portrait in remote locations throughout the world, basically. So now you no longer need those budgets to rent helicopters and fly crews around.
Yes.
And you can sit there with your mind and your thoughts in the AI tools and create whatever it is that you want. So it really has changed everything.
Yes. I'm glad you brought up this TED Talk. Teen seems like ancient history. But your opening line of the talk says, "Did you ever have a dream?" Yeah. And so here we are, if you do it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And even then, who would have even thought it would happen this fast? I'm like, we're putting together, okay, this is going to happen. But what's happening with AI right now is it's a miracle and we just have to embrace it. And that's one of the things that we're doing with Plotaverse is we have a section called Discover AI, where we're highlighting the top artists, but also we're giving a lot of instruction on how to prompt and use these tools to the best that you can.
Yes. And a lot of people will say, "Well, you came along at a great time. You're just capitalizing on the trend." But certainly there have been challenges and obstacles like there are in any creative endeavor. What have you had to overcome to really get this idea off the ground?
Oh my gosh, where do I begin? So when I first created Plotagraph, I put in for a patent on Plotagraph and I created our desktop version first, Mac and PC version. And when it came out, it just blew up. And I got a call from Apple, and Apple asked me to come in to build a version for the iPad and iPhone, the iOS version. So I went in and I got some really great, once again, off the bat, they knew it was going to be a hit. And they made me an offer that I actually declined because I said, no, I want to keep going with this. I don't want to just cash out at the moment. So the obstacles that occurred is just you never really thought what happens in big tech.
Mm.
So I ended up getting 5 patents on photo animation, and the app is known as like the first photo to video app. So one of the big things that's happening right now in AI within content creation is photo to video. And I guess help lead the way with creating that with what's called shifting of pixels. So I've actually spent years now, unfortunately, in courts with some of these really big top companies not being so successful because it's hard as an entrepreneur, small entrepreneur to go up against these big companies. Seems like the system's somewhat rigged. The good news is next month I've been rewarded my patent.
Okay.
So about a year ago, a judge stripped me of my patents. And this could be a whole conversation itself, but it's really a problem what's happening with entrepreneurs really trying to, the creators who are creating this and the big tech companies coming in and just taking their technology and kind of kicking them off to the side. So in 1 month, I get my patent, which kind of changes everything. And that patent now is going to be untouchable. Here I am as a photographer, as a creator, and somebody who I just want to make things pretty and help people create. Now I've been like battling these big tech conglomerates and seeing really what the industry is about, which is a little bit disheartening, but it is what it is. It's part of this process, in my journey, at least that I've been on. And however, I can help this not help happen to other creators as well. It's been a little bit of a mission of mine as well.
Sure.
Sometimes we don't choose these missions, but sometimes there's a divine guidance who wants to say, okay, this is going to be your job for this part of your life.
Exactly. Thanks for taking the arrows, as it were. That's what a leader has to do sometimes. Yes,
Yeah, it makes you stronger for sure.
for sure. Let's put some meat on the bones here of the theory. Are there some stories of either artists or brands or projects that you've seen have used Plotaverse in new and different ways that kind of stand out in your mind?
Yeah, with Plotaverse, okay, going back to that initially, the photo to video, oh gosh, where do I begin? GoPro was really a big fan of it. And then we had Red Bull. Red Bull was like really like one of our first big corporate kind of like brands that really loved it. And when we ended up doing a case study, and we did a case study of actually Photoshop, when the first image that Photoshop animated with Plotagraph on their Instagram broke their record for engagement
Wow.
on Instagram. So we have all these really great case studies. And so what people started realizing is, oh, wow. So I can take a photo and make a video out of this. And so for me, when I saw that, I just knew that's going to be something that's going to be really special. And I knew a lot of the budgets that were coming from the photography world were moving into video. So I said, okay, let's create a tool for photographers to be able to create videos from stills. So that's
Mhm.
where this all began. So now with taking the tools that we have that we got built in, it goes now from just a shifting of pixels in parts of the image to really taking a photograph and pressing a button, putting a couple prompts in, and creating a video, and sometimes even a short film just off of a prompt. And not even sometimes, but yes, you can now create short films and soon to come feature films off of just a prompt and a few photos.
Now, it's almost a cliche question. So I'm looking for not only a new way to ask it, but maybe you can provide some new insight to the answer. And that is, we creatives, we artists worry that AI is going to replace human creativity. But you're describing it's your picture, it's your idea, it's your prompt. And AI is taking your creativity to a whole new level. How do you use the word embrace, so I'll continue on that. How do we embrace it rather than seeing this as a threat?
I'm trying to think of the thing, seeing it as a threat thing, because I think maybe I was there for a whole 2 seconds, but now I just really do see it as like a collaboration. If you're a traditional photographer, now you have images that you took decades ago, years ago, whatever it might be, and you can actually bring that photo to life in a video and prompt it in a way that we couldn't even have imagined before. There's a lot of traditional photographers. Let's go back to initially, like years ago, there was a set of photographers who would say, digital will never replace film.
Right.
And then that batch of photographers really lost out on that moment to be able to not only embrace digital, but help it come along and be what it is. And of course, film's gone to the wayside and digital. One of the things was saying people were saying is digital will never be as saturated or all of these things. Pixels can never replace film. And obviously we see what happened. Actually, Technicolor just went out of business last week.
Wow.
I know. That was like a little bit of a big thing in the industry. I got a message from a friend. We're just like made in Technicolor. And
Yes,
then,
exactly.
you know, and that company now has gone out of business. So it really says a lot. So it's really important to embrace the tools and embrace technology and to go with it because it's not going anywhere.
No, so true. And this idea of innovation, obviously, as you say, it never stops. There's something new every day and on the horizon. As you're watching the trends and seeing the innovation, what are you seeing as the next competitive area?
Everywhere is the answer, of course, because photography now can be prompted, everything can be prompted. I'm working with artists who want to have that traditional aspect. So say they have a photograph and they could take that photo and enhance it or even not enhance it and just bring that to life in itself. So if they have that thought, if they have the story as far as what they wanted to see happen with this, now they can actually prompt their way into creating whatever it might be, character, even like a specific photograph of, they can create a character of that for a film or for an ad or for whatever it might be.
Mhm. And then what about entrepreneurs as well? You've taken your creativity and your art into this other tech area. And you mentioned, hey, creatives have to be up on technology, they have to be up on law. It's like they're the whole gamut of the competition. So, what insights from your experience would you have for somebody who's trying to explore and navigate that area?
For the entrepreneurs, now it's similar to what we were talking about with Chat GPT, is you no longer have to be Hollywood. So how fun is this? Is you have an idea, you create a company. Now your content can be as good as anybody's.
Mm.
So now it comes into how creative are you, right?
Yeah.
So how creative are you with your prompting, with your thoughts? Now you can create something that it would have taken millions of dollars in a Hollywood crew to produce. So now there's no excuses. So now it comes into where you're like, okay, I have this idea, and I have this idea, whether it's for an ad or storytelling or a part of an educational part of whatever company that you're creating. And you can single-handedly produce this now with AI.
So good. Troy, we're catching you in Thailand today. And on this podcast, I've done my virtual travels from Cape Town to Copenhagen and all points in between. Does this kind of technology change global collaboration and really in terms of not only where we're doing the work, and you mentioned, hey, you can do this project anywhere in the world virtually, but also does it change the collaboration set, the people you could work with?
Yeah, it has even since 2016 and now even more. What it does, it just solidifies it. My team is all over the world. I've been actually on the road now for almost 3 years. I've been in every part you can imagine. I called Maui my home for 6 years, and then at one point, almost 3 years ago, I decided to hit the road and like, "Oh, I'm gonna go on the road for a little bit." And so what I've done is I've met with a lot of our customers around the world, a lot of our creators, and I've got people on my team from Indonesia, from Brazil, from Chile. So it doesn't matter now where you are. I'm actually considering going to China now, which I
Good.
never really that wasn't really on my radar so much. But yeah, so anywhere in the world now is a possibility. And what's really fun and interesting about that too is you have creators who now have an opportunity with the right tools. They have just a laptop. They can actually now compete and make good money compared to a lot of times artists in the past were really stuck to whatever region that they were in. So now, once again, if you have the thought, you can create it.
Yes. And speaking to those creators who might think it's just me and my laptop, I'm just working in my basement trying to do the best I can. Speak to them about trying to reach out to this community. This is what you've been doing and connecting the dots with customers and creators everywhere. Why is community important to even solo creators and entrepreneurs?
It's really all about the community. And one thing that you brought up that's really interesting is what the big corporations are having a hard time doing is creating an authentic community. There are some that are doing it, but that's one of my benefits. Well, you say, like, what would even my benefit be? How can I have one up on a big corporation? Even say Adobe, who has struggled with creating communities in the past. And for me, as a true artist, as somebody who's been doing this since I was a child, I connect very well with artists.
Mm.
So what we're doing is my team and I is we're going across the internet, we're going across Instagram and TikTok, we're finding the world's best artists, top artists. And a lot of these AI artists who obviously are new, there's
Yes.
no AI artists who've been around for 5 years.
Yes.
So they're really finding that they're struggling to get followers because now that we have this whole algorithm set up from these traditional social companies, I'm finding artists with less than 1,000 followers who could be the next Steven Spielberg. So I'm going through and inviting them into the community and letting them know that we're here to support them. And as a commercial photographer for a long time, working with the brands, that's one of my specialties is I'm matching the artist with the brands. So this is where the brands really need to stay up with technology as well. And the person who they may use to do that could be literally somebody from across the world who just happens to have this particular style that matches their brand and they really love. And so now they're able to work together. So with Plotaverse, creating the community and having this set up that's one of the things that we're specializing is how can I help artists monetize?
Mm.
So the collaboration with the brands and the artists is really coming together like never before.
Troy, what a fantastic story. I want to help make some of those connections right now. How can creators connect with you, reach out, find out more about your tools, but also your work?
Plotaverse.com, Plota verse. That's our website, and that will point you to our desktop version, our iOS version, and our Android version of the actual app. So that's the best place. And we're setting it up. We're gonna have conversational AI built into the app. So we're making an avatar of myself that's connected to ChatGPT. And you can sit there and have a conversation. You almost can't tell now if it's me or if it's the AI version. So my job now is to build in what are my thoughts, what are the things that I know that are a little bit special that maybe chat may not know. And we build that in, including like how to use the tools, how to use specific ways of using the app and animating.
Well, I've loved talking with you about your personal journey, but also this kind of reminiscent walk down memory lane of film to digital, still to video, and now AI driven creativity. It's very cool. Thanks so much for being with me, Troy.
You're very welcome. Happy to
And,
be there.
and keep connecting those creators, because I do think the community is stronger when we do, right? Collaboration is always better than what we could create ourselves, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. If you see what's happening on social media, and especially here on Plotaverse, there's so many creators that are coming together that are collaborating in ways that they would have been hesitant before. And because now it is easier to create the content. So now we have musicians, we've got specific creators doing specific styles that people are just actually really having a blast working together. One of the things that we're doing on Plotaverse is we're working on monetizing with smart contracts where the creators can actually, when they monetize, it's just automatically percentages go out and be paid to the creators, so they don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. See, these logistics often stifle us, don't they? Or make us afraid. I don't want to reach out to this person. What if they steal my ideas? Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that definitely has happened in the past, and it's not so much an issue with the AI creators. Because once again, they know that already from the beginning they're collaborating with the machine.
Mhm.
So there's a part of that that's just that makes them a little bit more open. With photography, as we know, like traditional photography, that was what people made a living off of. So that image that they took and maybe took them a few days to create, or Ansel Adams back in the day,
Right.
hiking forest for days or weeks to create that photo. Of course, they want to keep that to themselves because that's their way of monetizing. Now, with prompting and depending on what tools you're using, it's a lot easier. But now there are ways of also protecting yourself as well. So that's one of the things that we're building into the system too, is actually protecting your work and digitizing it in a way that you know that you're the creator of that.
Right. Well, you're covering a lot of bases. Troy, I've really enjoyed talking with you. I hope we can stay in touch and keep us posted on how things continue to evolve.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. I
Yeah.
appreciate it very much.
And we'll have all those links in the show notes so people can connect. So, and before we go, I just want to thank our sponsor, White Cloud Coffee Roasters. Listeners can enjoy a 10% discount on your coffee order when you use the code CREATIVITY at checkout. It's whitecloudcoffee.com. Grab a coffee, grab a discount, as I say. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, I hope you will rate it, review it, subscribe it on your favorite podcast app. It really helps support all these creative voices we want to bring to the microphone, like we have with Troy Plota today. Troy, again, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mark.
And listeners, come back again next time and we'll continue to unlock your world of creativity. I'm Mark Stinson, and we'll see you next time.